Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we're bringing you another battle report, this time from the bridge of Tier 9 premium German cruiser, Siegfried. Siegfried and her sister Eiger have just recently come into the game after, well, quite a long and mixed and, I suppose, somewhat turbulent testing cycle. Both of these ships went through a variety of changes and updates and iterations along the way. But here we are, finally at last, 9.5 has dropped, and these ships are now available for everyone to purchase. Eiger, the sister ship to this one, available in the out of the tech tree for free XP, 1 million free XP for that ship. Siegfried here is available for research points. I believe it was 47,000, 42,000, something like this. It's over 40,000 research points, which of course you earn research points right now by regrinding ship lines. This is the first ship I ever invested research points in, and I gotta say, kids, I am not regretting my purchase. I've been playing games, working on a performance review video, and this game was simply too good and too ridiculous not to share. Here we are spawning on the north side of Sea of Fortune, and I start off this match, I'm not really sure what to do. Siegfried is one of these ships that you kind of have to play. I mean, it is a heavy cruiser. It's a battle cruiser, right, for all intents and purposes. And so you kind of have to approach a match from a little bit of a, okay, I'm not a pushing ship early because I'm just going to get focused and dead, right? You don't have the armor scheme to stand up to a lot of early fire. So you see me here, I'm trying to move way east, kind of almost heading due east along the C and the D line here. Just trying to get a position, find an angle that I'm not going to get focused out early. Some enemy battleships trading fires with a couple of battleships behind me. We've got pretty good matchmaking here in this game. We are top tier, so that's nice to see. Right now, as I see my friendly Ooster Jutland in the cap, kind of trying to work the cap in front of him. He's not in the cap, but I'm like, all right, well, we'll back him up. Little squishy Helena back there. I'm kind of waiting for this guy to give me a decent shot. I'm still learning to trust these guns. These are only 380mm guns. You have 6 of them. This is the gun configuration in Gneisenau. But look at these shell groupings. Look at this shell dispersion. You're going to see this repeatedly. Almost every time I pull the trigger, you're going to go, what? Gneisenau could only dream of getting the kind of dispersion that Siegfried routinely gets every time she pulls the trigger. It's almost, I mean, you don't have the shell velocity of a Stalingrad, but it feels like there are times you have the dispersion of a Stalingrad. Firing these guns feels so good. Continuing to stay locked on this Helena. I want to get him off the board. I don't know why this guy's swanning around inside a cap circle in a light cruiser 3 minutes into the game. He's going to get just absolutely destroyed. Unfortunately, it's not me that's going to get the destroying in. I get a couple of overpins there. We do get the reset. But my team, those battleships behind me, those big nasty battleships, yeah, they come in eventually and clean this mess up. Now, I said I was going east, and I'm backing off a bit because I'm just trying to kind of gauge what's going to happen. I don't quite know where the Bismarck and where that Nagato are going. Siegfried is a ship that can absolutely push a battleship, but it's one of these things that the longer that engagement goes, in other words, if the battleship is kiting you away, you are probably at a disadvantage of that engagement. It's not to say that you can't win, it's to say that you've got an uphill battle to climb. However, if the battleship is pushing into you, and you're pushing into him simultaneously, and the range is closing very quickly, well, the equations all change. Because, of course, Siegfried, like so many of these big German cruisers, she has torpedoes, a quadruple rack on each side. And there's a lot of battleship players that don't seem to realize this, or don't know this, or never learned this, or I don't know what the deal is. But what you're going to see over the next few minutes in this game is me absolutely bullying the bejesus out of battleships using my torpedo armament. These two battleships, this Nagato, this Bismarck, continuing to push up the 9 line. And as I retreat behind this island, I decide, you know what? I'm not going to have any of this. No, sir. You are going to go away, or I am going to end you. So I turn around and throw on some speed. This ship will make about 35 knots or so as we head down to greet these oncoming battle wagons. Bismarck isn't even looking at me. When I zoom in on him in a minute, you'll see his guns are focused off his port side, looking probably at the Alabama. The Nagato, to his credit, at least seems to understand or appreciate or or I don't acknowledge, I don't know, the threat that I represent. But with my bow to him, he's going to really struggle to get noteworthy damage for a while. Bismarck and I are closing on each other very, very quickly. I'm actually trying to take his turrets out here. You see the angle I've got on his turrets. I was trying to get a turret in cap there, but instead I got a bunch of full pins through his super. At least I think it was through his superstructure, which I wasn't expecting. Here we are inside of 5 kilometers. He's finally realized I'm here. He's turning, but his guns still haven't turned. There we go. He's just now starting to get him around. And I fire again for the gun in cap. I do get one. But for this dude, it's too late. He has his hydro up. You see that? So I have to make sure that I fire the torpedoes at the right time. But by the time he makes this turn, it looks like he's trying for the ram. Nah, it's too late for that. It's too late for you, sir. Now, the Nagato does get a good solid hit through my bow there. You saw it just a second ago, about 13,000. So now I've got to try and salvage what little bit of my health pool I can from this guy. But he's about to get some of my... I'm about to get some of my own back there with a sit, 3 full pins, 20k into his broadside. He knows he's been touched. And so, again, this is the mistake this guy made, of course, realizing he needed to back off. He should have run away. He puts another 11k up forward, but it's too late. I'm already here. I'm already right here. No, it's too late. He can try for the ram, he can try to dodge, but inside of a kilometer, I'm going to land enough of those that his game is over. Well, time for a breather. Ship's a little beat up here. A couple had a gun. At least one of my turrets was in cap for a bit there. Now, my team is just about to surrender complete and total control of the entire board. We're less than 7 minutes in, we have no caps. But we're up 3 ships. We were up 4 ships. Now we're up 3 ships. So the amount of enemy firepower and the enemy force projection that they can keep on the board is diminishing very rapidly. You can see they're out of cruisers. Their cruisers are all dead. They're down to 3 battleships, including this Richelieu right in front of me. And of course, all of their destroyers are still in the game. Richie gets a good solid hit there. I guess my armor wasn't quite up to it, or the angle was just enough for it to bite into that upper belt. I keep hoping to get citadels on this guy, but I guess I get the gun in cap there. That's nice. Still, a 10k hit is not unnoteworthy. As my heal is about to come back up. So I go into this engagement. I expect this Richelieu, having seen what I've just done to his buddies over here, to go into the cap circle, to specifically avoid coming into action with my torpedoes. But no. No, that's exactly not what he does. He turns right at me. And again, my starboard torpedoes are reloaded. I'm not really afraid of this engagement. See there? Now we're getting better bounces off the upper belt. Trying again for the gun in caps here. We do get 1. So I've got one of his turrets out of action here as we approach it what amounts to point-blank range for battleships. So we turn out, once again, to give him some sweet, sweet love from these German torpedoes. Enjoy, sir. Jingles likes to make fun and mock battleships that sail in straight lines. I think I'm going to start mocking battleships that decide to close to range with point blank range with ships that they know for a fact have torpedoes. I just don't understand it. 7 enemy ships killed now in less than 9 minutes. We're starting to narrow the gap a little bit on score. We have a friendly Gneiss who's capping B, and I've got a great shot on this Iowa over here on the 5 line. He is not paying attention. I'm well into his backfield now. This salvo is not a great one. It's a decent hit, right? 10k, I'm never going to sneeze about 10k. But, yeah, it could have been a better hit, right? Like, you know, you're always looking for citadels when you've got this angle on an American battleship, right? So I need to do a little better here. I'd lead a little differently here. I get really good dispersion. Check this out. Look at those shells. Look at that. And, that's right. 2 sits up in the forward magazine. A 30k hit and a high caliber. He's still reversing, by the way. I guess he just doesn't care that I'm over here. So I'm thinking right here, this is it. I've the kill shot. I've got him. I'm going to citadel him again. I'm going to get him off the board. But alas, no. Bummer. Enemy Jutland, who capped C not long ago, has been a real thorn in my side for the last few minutes. Not because he's been doing significant damage, but just because he's been irritating. And there, just as we just now touched the halfway mark of the match, 10 enemy ships have died. Are already gone. This is one of those steamroll games, I suppose, that Warships has just become kind of so synonymous with of late. The excitement is largely over at this stage, right? Like, I've already had a smashingly awesome game. They're down to just an Asashio and a Jutland. But these two destroyers are not done with us just yet. We have a lot of force over in the A cap. They've just now bagged A, of course. They're going to be pushing into B shortly, which is where we had seen that Asashio earlier. So my plan right now is I'm going to push the B cap. The Jutland's torpedoes are actually a threat to me. The Asashio's torpedoes are absolutely not a threat to me. So, my thinking is, this gap right up here between B and C, I'm going to go play in that gap so that if the Asashio decides to run and save his ship, he's going to blunder right into me, and I can kill him. That's what I'm thinking the Asashio's going to do, right? Surely he's not going to sit in the B cap. I'll catch a glimpse of the Jutland there. Bismarck's got him. Or got a glimpse of him there. Surely the Asashio's not going to... Oh. He is. He's going to try and charge the entire enemy team. All right. Well, that'll be over shortly. Okay. Well, that just leaves this Jutland. Now, this Jutland has proven himself to be a very irritating and competent opponent throughout this match, right? He's done really good work. So as we kind of chug towards the end here, what you're going to see is literally us, the 7 of us, having to hunt down this guy. And he plays it really well. My team's going to get into B, so I'm going to just blow that off. You see here, I'm kind of steaming into B, but I realize I'm not going to get in there. It's not really worth it. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe he's going to play the north end of the B cap, try to torpedo somebody in the cap. I'm not sure. So I come back to starboard, and I'm going to go straight up the 6 line here in between these caps and just kind of try and keep herding him off to the north. But because I don't have hydro equipped, I have hydro available on this ship. Of course, it's a German ship. I can take hydro. You can see there I've opted for the defensive fire, that I don't want to blunder into his torpedoes. Now, one of the things I'll point out that a lot of folks haven't noticed yet, or at least haven't really latched onto yet, Siegfried and Eiger both have amazingly good torpedo protection for Tier 9 cruisers. Tier 9 battle cruisers, whatever. 37% torpedo protection. There are Tier 9 battleships that don't have torpedo protection this good. Now, that's not going to make these ships destroyer hunters, right? Under no circumstances. They just don't have the reload for it. However, it does mean that you can push into areas, certainly against certain destroyer targets, that might seem unappealing to battleships because you're able to better absorb some of the incoming torpedoes. And I'm thinking mainly about some of the European destroyer torpedoes that already hit pretty lightly. Those kinds of torpedoes are really not going to bother a Siegfried or an Eiger as long as you take those torpedoes probably on your belt. If you take them on your bow or your stern, well, yeah, you're probably going to get a flood. You're going to have to repair. You're going to take more damage, right? The torpedo protection doesn't extend that far. But if you take them amidships, and they're going to tickle. They're going to hit 3, 4, 5K maybe, and you probably won't take a flood. You got pretty good torpedo protection. Jutland does bag himself another kill there, taking our low-health Iowa off the board as, again, we don't know where he is. We just know he's out off to the north somewhere. My initial thinking is that I'm going to go to A. What I don't want to happen is I don't want him to swing around behind us and back cap. But then I see this torpedo salvo off to my starboard side, and I realize, okay, he's still running north somewhere, wherever he is. So, no, I'm not going to go to A. I'm not going to go to A. I'm going to turn out, and I'm going to keep backing these guys up as we kind of run to the northeast here, just kind of hoping sooner or later somebody will spot this guy. Dagaja is our best bet, of course. He's moving out in front of us here. Between his detection radius and his speed, he is the most likely person to eventually catch this Jutland. Because, again, you have to remember, Jutland is not a fast destroyer. Most of the British destroyers aren't super amazing in terms of speed. They don't have access to engine boost. Aha, look who we found. Gaja finally caught him at last. And here I am at 10 kilometers, putting 3 of my 6 shells into this guy. That's the kind of accuracy that you can get out of these guns. I love Siegfried's main battery. It's so ridiculously good. He did pop a torpedo salvo off at me. Gaja has spotted it there, so I'll find me a gap and dodge those handily. The ending of this game is not very exciting. I really wanted to show you the guys of this game because I wanted to emphasize a couple of things. Siegfried, when you play this ship, you need to be looking for opportunities to bully cruisers and potentially bully battleships, right? That's really what this ship does well. The battleship part is situational, as you saw. I'm bullying battleships and those are all down-tiered battleships. Now, that's not to say that Bismarck and Ritchie and Nagato aren't threats to me. They absolutely are. But am I able to do that against let's say a Musashi? I don't know. It depends. He's got a lot more health. He's got bigger guns. He's going to hurt me more on the way in. So it's situational. But in that situation, two of those battleships have 15-inch guns, 380 millimeters. I can absolutely bully those ships. The Nagato has bigger guns. The bottom tier battleship in that engagement has bigger guns than the Bismarck and the Richelieu. But he's softer in the sides, even than the Richelieu. So, yeah, I can absolutely bully these guys. And again, it was all about their board position. They had committed to, we're coming up the side of the map. They've got nowhere to run. There's a map border on one side, an island on the other, and me in the middle. And guess what, guys? You're going to get all the torpedoes that you can handle at point-blank range, and you ain't going to make it. Anyway, guys, I love this ship. I hope you enjoyed this replay. Wash your hands, be safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.